coming together, joining forces, helping those that are in need of help. We're getting the unfortunate news that there are more casualties than we thought originally. But we're here today to gather forces as well, to bring things for rescue, to be sent off. Looks like we're doing a good job of that. And that's what's best about America. We put aside our differences, we come together, and we help each other out. It's amazing. We love this country. I'm reminded of a story that was told at the convention about how my husband also cares and how it's going to be wonderful to have him sitting in the Oval Office with a person with that kind of compassion. At the convention, a friend of ours, Pat and Ted Oborowski, Ted was a firefighter from Medford, Massachusetts, and his son was diagnosed with leukemia. And it was interesting to see what Mitt did in response to that. You know, at that time we had 4 little boys, and Mitt was busy professionally, and we had a very busy life, and yet what he was teaching my boys at that time was so important to me as a mom. He was teaching how we care for one another when we're in trouble. And I was reminded of that at the convention when they told that story, so I was grateful for that. I do remember how old my little boy Ben was, because I remember he was learning how to talk. And he was learning other things, and that is so interesting when we think about life, is sometimes we think the things we say have impact. No, it's what we do. And watching by example is what has the biggest impact for children and for teaching them. It's probably no accident that my little son Ben is now a doctor. He was learning at his father's knee a very important lesson long time ago, that we care for one another. So this story is a wonderful story, how David was so ill. He was 14 years old, diagnosed with a really very difficult leukemia. And over the 6 and 7 months that he was in and out of the hospital, Mitt was visiting with him frequently, got to know this boy very well, was able then to kind of lift the spirits of the family. On one of those visits, David asked Mitt knew he had a law degree, and asked if he could write David's will. And Mitt was happy to do that and sat with David. And you know, 14-year-old boys don't have many worldly possessions, but he wanted to make sure the skateboard got to his friend and the rifle got to his brother. Another visit, David asked a very somber question of Mitt, and that was, what happens? What happens next for me? Where am I going? And Mitt was able to give him the comfort and the assurance that life would continue for David even past the grave, and that he would be all right, and he would be safe and loved where he was going next. So that was wonderful. The last request David made of Mitt was a tender one, asking, after this deep friendship had developed, would Mitt deliver the eulogy at his funeral. And so for me, as I think back on those memories and what he was teaching my boys, I am blessed to know that I had a husband that was a father to my boys, that were teaching them the principles of caring for one another when life is hard. And so I think we're all reminded right now that for some Americans, life is very hard. Some have lost their loved ones. Some are losing their homes. We see this terrible fire in Queens. Some are being flooded out, and some obviously are without power. So our prayers and thoughts are with those Americans that are struggling right now, and our prayers and thoughts are also with this country as a blessed nation that we share and love together. So I will say to you all, God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.